All right. Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Welcome to the series premiere of Late Nite Snacks. And I'm your host, Matt McNally, Vernon's own Superman and second mayor. So how was everyone's Christmas? My Christmas was pretty good, despite the fact that just before 2 weeks before Christmas, I tested positive for COVID, and well, I had pretty mild symptoms because I was vaccinated in April 2021 and boosted December of 2021. So, yeah, well, and then 2 weeks after I tested positive, well, I went back to my routines just 10 days after I tested positive, and I had an almost normal Christmas like I did in 2019. And I got that mini Pac-Man arcade machine, that arcade one-up machine, and it has Pac-Man on it. So, and I haven't tried it out yet, but I'm thinking about trying it. And I also got that little handheld, almost like that one that I got for Christmas back in 2020 during COVID when it shut everything down. So, and it's almost like a Game Boy. So, and I haven't tried it out because I don't have any AAA batteries. Oh, shoot. Okay. So, how was everyone's Christmas? My Christmas was good, and New Year, it was good too. I stayed home, didn't do much on New Year's except go to Starbucks. So, it's the new year, new chapter of my life, and this is my first ever late night podcast called Late Night. Hold on one second. Okay, I was just seeing if it's on. Yeah, it is. So, this is Late Nite Snacks, the series premiere of Late Nite Snacks, and I'm your host, Matt McNally, Vernon's own mayor, second mayor that is, and Superman. Okay, so we're going to talk about and also before we get started with some topics, I was just watching Monday Night Raw, and they had the main event between Austin Theory and Seth freaking Rollins for the WWE United States Championship, and Austin Theory retained the championship against Seth freaking Rollins. Even though I wanted Seth Rollins to win the championship, but it was a bad way to end the first Monday Night Raw of 2023. So, yeah, I was just watching some Monday Night Raw tonight, and they had that main event between Seth Rollins and Austin Theory. So, and yeah, I wanted Seth Rollins to win, but, well, that was kind of a bad start because Austin Theory won. I mean, he beat Seth Rollins. I think he delivered a low blow to Seth Rollins before pinning Rollins or winning the championship. So, yeah, it was a bad way to end the first Monday Night Raw of 2023. The new year, new chapter of my life, and this is going to be the year I'm going to remember for the rest of my life since I'm hosting my own late night podcast, which I call Late Nite Snacks. This is the series premiere of Late Nite Snacks. So, hope everyone had a Merry Christmas. Hope everyone had a Happy New Year. So, it's showtime. That's what Beetlejuice says. So, okay. So, one of the first topics we're going to do for tonight is the New York Giants. They captured their first Super Bowl victory. I mean, not Super Bowl. They clinched their first playoff berth since 2017. That was the year when the last time when the Giants were in the playoffs, and they haven't been in the playoffs since the 2016 NFL regular season. So, and they haven't been to the playoffs since because they had a lot of miserable coaches that got fired. So, and I didn't watch most of the games, so yeah, and I watched the final score of the okay, so yeah, I watched some of the game yesterday when I returned from when I went to church yesterday, and I went to the park, and when I went to the park yesterday, I saw a tree that looked like a bunny rabbit. Did you all know that? It's kind of cool though. It was and I walked even 2 miles. It was like a new record for me because usually when I go for walks. When I lived at my old house, I used to walk around the block, but I'm not allowed on the main street because it's too dangerous because I didn't want to get hit by a car. So, and I remember those days. So, and I'm so glad the New York Giants are finally in postseason for the first time since the 2016 NFL regular season. So, and next Sunday, during their last game of the regular season, they take on the Philadelphia Eagles, and then before you know it, they're in the playoffs. And I hope they win the Super Bowl for the first time since Super Bowl 46 when they beat the New England Patriots. So, so let's go Giants! Bring home the championship and go to the Super Bowl. All right. So, if you want to ask me questions, write in the comments section below, and I will answer to you some questions. And also, every night at 11 p.m., except on weekends, since I want to take the weekends off, I want to be able to do late night snacks. So every night, every Monday through Friday night at 11 p.m., but I'm going to take the whole weekends off, and I'm filming live on location in my bedroom here in Hardison, New Jersey, in the Capital Care Group home. So during the series premiere of Late Nite Snacks, that's night, that is spelled N-I-T-E, like Nick at Night, because when I was younger, I used to watch Nick at Night when I was a lot younger, back when Nickelodeon was good, when they had shows like Rugrats, Doug, Hey Arnold, Ren and Stimpy, Rocko's Modern Life, and so on. And that was the Nickelodeon I grew up watching. Because, that was the time when I started watching Nickelodeon. Back when they still had Rugrats on. Back when Hey Arnold just started. And back when they had reruns like Rocco, Doug, Ren and Stimpy, and all of that. So, yeah, that was like the golden age of Nickelodeon. So, hold on one second. Okay, so, this is, like I said, this is episode 1 of Late Night Snacks. I will be airing every Monday through Friday night, starting tonight, January the 2nd. So, like I said, hope everyone had a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and Happy Holiday. And it's been a tough last 2 years, and even last year was tough too because my mother just passed away. She had a heart attack, and I was forced to move out of my old house. I used to live in the Barry Lake subregion of Vernon, New Jersey, and I was forced to move out of my group home because of the too many safety hazards, and I could not afford to get the repairs done. So, my mom just had a heart attack on April 2nd. She was in the hospital until she passed away on April 4th. It's been a very tough last several months for me because I just lost my mom, and then I had to move out of my old house in Barry Lake subregion of Vernon, and then I had to go through a very hard transition to a Capital Care Group home in Stock Hardison, New Jersey. And in case anyone doesn't know what Capital Care is, it's a comprehensive behavioral health program over in Stanhope. And they have a program there in which clients go every weekday from sometime in the morning until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I usually go every day except on Wednesdays, and that was the day when I go to the food pantry over the Vernon United Methodist Church over in Vernon, New Jersey, and I do the dog food bags and all that. So, yeah, it can get very tiring at times. And I even took and speaking of which, it's been a very long year, last 2 years. I mean, with COVID and everything. And last year, my mom just passed away, and she had a heart attack. She passed 2 days later, and I had to go through a very hard transition of my life, going from Barry Lakes to Hardison. It's off of Route 23. And also, and then to top it all off, I tested positive for COVID-19. and that was the first time that I tested positive for a virus that killed so many people in the U.S. and around the world, and kept so many people inside in 2020. And it was tough. It was really tough. So remember, if anyone asks me questions, I will write in the comment section below, and we will get to the questions, because I think every Friday I'm going to do Q&A. So I think every Friday I'm going to do Q&A every Friday on Late Nite Snacks. So I think that's what I'm going to do starting this Friday, January 6th, which will mark the 2-year anniversary of the January 6th insurrection at Capitol Hill. And that's when I'm going to talk about the insurrection on January 6th. So, okay, so let's say, switching gears now, and also the Super Mario Brothers movie comes out on April 7th, 2023, and they're going to have Chris Pratt doing the voice of Mario. It's me, Mario. That's right. So, and they're going to have some of the voice clips that are done by Mario's regular voice actor, Charles Martinet, who does the voice of Mario since the PC game, Mario Fundamentals. Well, and in case anyone doesn't know, it's a PC game. And back then, I think they made Mario games on the PC as well. It didn't have to be on Nintendo consoles back in the 90s, and including the Philips CDI. And I remember Angry Video Game Nerd talked about a Mario game on the CDI one time called Hotel Mario. And I've been watching a lot of Angry Video Game Nerd lately. And speaking of which, he just recently reviewed Garfield games. I mean, Garfield video games, Garfield, the orange fat cat who loves lasagna and hates Mondays. And he also loved picking on his owner, John Arbuckle. So, yeah, John is his owner's name. And, yeah, I used to love watching Garfield and Friends when I was younger, when it aired on CBS Saturday mornings. So, that was a good time of Saturday morning cartoons. So, okay, so, back to the Super Mario movie. It comes out on April 7th of later this year, and they're going to have Chris Pratt doing the voice of Mario. And also they're going to have Donkey Kong in the movie. They just had the new trailer for the Super Mario movie coming out in 2023, which is this year. And they just had Donkey Kong in it. So, and also, and it's also distributed by Universal Pictures. And I can't wait to go see that movie, but I have to figure out who is going to go with me to see the Super Mario Brothers movie. As you know, I'm thinking about getting a girlfriend soon, but we don't know who she is yet. And once I get a girlfriend, I'm going to take her to see the Super Mario Brothers movie. Just can't wait to see it in theaters real soon. But I have to, maybe not on the day when it premieres in theaters, because when movies come out in theaters, the theaters are always packed. They're always packed with people. Usually when theaters are packed, then they haven't been in 2020 because of COVID restrictions. So, and also, and this will be my first time going to a movie theater since I think 2018, the same year my father passed away. And the last movie I saw in theaters was Solo, a Star Wars story, which is actually a prequel. One of the Star Wars prequel films, but focusing on Han Solo and Chewbacca. And also that year I saw Deadpool 2. And I heard that Deadpool 3 is coming out, I think this year. And they're going to have Hugh Jackman reprising his role as Wolverine. And if Deadpool 3 comes out this year, I have to definitely go see it. Because I love Deadpool. He's a funny guy. He's one of my favorite characters in fictional characters of all time. He's a funny guy. So, and I am crazy for Deadpool. Did you all know that? He's funny. And I think the first time I was introduced to Deadpool was Marvel vs. Capcom 3, because I have it for Xbox 360, but I haven't played it in years, I think. And maybe I should start playing that once again. So, but Deadpool's a funny guy though. Without a doubt he is. So, And Ryan Reynolds is hilarious too. And Ryan Reynolds is one of my favorite famous people of all time, next to Mel Blanc, the guy who voices the Looney Tunes characters, except Elmer Fudd and the Roadrunner. Do you know Elmer Fudd was voiced by Arthur Q. Bryan, and the Roadrunner? Well, Paul Julian did the Roadrunner's beep beeps. Beep beep. Well, actually, but watch this. Beep beep. So, and you know, my dad loved the Roadrunner. So, the Roadrunner was my dad's favorite cartoon character because here's the thing: why my dad loved the Roadrunner. Because he loved all the inventions that Wile E. Coyote made to try to catch the Roadrunner, but he always failed miserably to catch the Roadrunner. But sadly, my dad passed away back in 2018. He had lung cancer, but it went into his brain, and that was it for him. And he's reunited with my mom once again, and he is happily watching the Roadrunner in heaven, and listening to classic rock in heaven too. And you know, I love classic rock too. So like the Beatles, AC/DC, Leonard Skinner, let's see, Metallica, Kiss. I love all of those classic. Oh, and the Rolling Stones. And you know, I love all of those classic rock bands because, and you know, there's a station called 103.7 WNNJ. It's a radio station over in Newton, New Jersey, and they play classic rock all day, usually from the 70s, 80s, and I think the 90s, because I think they started playing classic rock from the 90s as well. And maybe one day I should start listening to 103.7 or 103.7 WNNJ, because usually on my phone I listen to a radio station from Vernon, New Jersey, 107.9 WSRX FM. And I've been listening to it ever since it first launched. And in case, and did you all know this? They had a radio show on Friday nights at 5 p.m. On 107.9 FM called Play It Loud with Kato. And it used to air on Friday nights from January 2019 until January 2021. And I used to listen to it every Friday night at 5 p.m. on 107.9. So it was cool though, because you know the guy who hosted it, I went to high school with him, and I graduated high school with him that year in 2011. So, and then he hosted a radio show in 2019 from 2019 until 2021. Well, in the same month, which is January. And I used to listen to it every day, every Friday night at 5 p.m. And they played a lot of good hits. Oh, and did you know this? Every time when during the early months when I listened to Play It Loud with Kato on Vernon FM 107.9, I used to have an old Windows Vista laptop, which I got for Christmas back when I was in high school. And, well, it didn't have sound in it because it was starting to fail. And I used to play modifications of one of my favorite Nintendo 64 games of all time, which is Super Mario 64. Let's go! Okie dokie! Remember that? And they have modifications of Super Mario 64 in which they have new levels, and sometimes you get to play the same levels but with different characters. And I even played some of the Super Mario 64 modifications. One of them had Kirby in it, and another had Crash Bandicoot. So it was cool though. And did you know one time, when I played a Super Mario 64 modification one time, they even had a cameo of Plank. You know, from Ed, and Eddie, Johnny 2x4's imaginary friend Plank. You know, that wooden guy, that wooden guy with the face. In case anyone remembered watching Ed, and Eddie on Cartoon Network, that was Plank. And did you know when I played Super Mario 64 one time, they had a cameo of Plank from Ed, and Eddie that used to air on Cartoon Network, from 1999 until 2009. And I used to love watching Ed, and Eddie when I was a kid. Um, well, my favorite character was Ed because he was funny. So, and speaking of the Super Mario 64 modifications, I got into them, I think, in 2018, the same year when my father passed away, but it wasn't until later on. So, um, and I used to love playing. I wanted to, well, actually, at first, I saw the modifications on YouTube and I wanted to try them out, but I didn't know if I wanted to trust my old laptop because it was starting to fail that time because it didn't have sound. And when I tried to get the sound back, it did not work. And originally, I didn't, I wanted to play them on my old Windows Vista laptop, which I got for Christmas one year, but well, it didn't have sound. But I actually switched to the option of no sound, and there we go. It worked. Full blast. I just had a little tickle in my throat. It's just, when I tested positive for COVID almost a month ago, it really irritated my throat and it took a lot out on me. So, but like I said about when I played the Super Mario 64 modifications, it didn't last long though because it only lasted nearly, a year and a half though. So a year and a half. And I think the first one I ever played was one of the modifications where you get to play as Yoshi. Did you all know that? But actually, and there's a glitch where you get to beat the game without any stars or keys. So it was cool though, where you get to go through the door. Without the key after when you go through one of the the Bowser stages. So it was cool. And did you know I've done speed runs, not on camera though, of the modifications of Super Mario 64. Some of the ones, one of the ones that have Yoshi in them. I played, well, they have new levels, but you don't get to play as Mario, but instead you get to play as Yoshi. So it was cool though. That was the first ever modification of Super Mario 64 that I tried out. And because I'm into emulation and I'm into gaming, and it's my priority because I'm a fan of retro gaming like NES, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Nintendo 64, love them all. Yep, once a retro gamer, always a retro gamer because I grew up playing Nintendo 64, grew up playing Super Nintendo, and even NES. And the first time I played an emulator was when I was an NES emulator. So it's called Nesticle. That's Nesticle. And the cursor of the net when you boot up the Nesticle emulator, the cursor is actually, I think it's a severed hand, and then you get to select whatever games you downloaded for the NES emulator. So, that was the first time I actually played more games on the NES because, when I was little, I used to have an NES when I was younger, when I was really little. I had games like Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 1 and 3, Legend of Zelda 1 and 2, Star Wars, and even Dr. Mario. Oh, and Pinball. But the Super Mario Brothers cartridge I had what came with Duck Hunt, and it's one of those games where you need the gun to play. And when I played Duck Hunt when I was younger, I always hated that dog because every time you miss the dog always comes up and laughs at you every time you miss the ducks. So, and the copy of Super Mario Brothers that I used to have came with Duck Hunt also. And there are some Super Mario Brothers copies that also came with not only Duck Hunt, but there's a game called World Class Track Meet, and it's one of those games where you need the power pad. So, it's one of those games where the power pad is required. So, I think I played World Class Track Meet once on an NES emulator when I was a teenager, when I was in middle school, but I didn't really use the controls because at first I didn't know if you needed a power pad, but I don't think it had capability with the emulator because I had to use a keyboard to use the controls to control the movement of the character on the emulator. So, and that was back when I got into more. Well, actually, when I was a teenager, I started playing Super Nintendo emulator. And I didn't know about save states back then, where you could save your progress and continue where you last left off, or reverse when you reverse something when you make a mistake, like when you die in a level, or when you want to get through very hard levels, like when you play harder games like Castlevania, Contra, or even all 6 Mega Man games. So, yeah, well, but when I was 10 years old, I was introduced to more classic NES titles like Castlevania, and even all 6 Mega Man games, and even oh man, I can't think. Oh, and also Ghosts and Goblins, and Ghosts and Goblins, trust me, is a hard ass game, and if you play Ghosts and Goblins, I want to tell you that game will piss you off, because it is a hard ass game. Yeah, Ghosts and Goblins is hard as fuck. It's one of the hardest games I've ever played in my life. And I've beaten hard games before, like Castlevania. I beat the first Castlevania game, and trust me, it made me want to rip my hair out. I mean, it made me want to rip my own hair out. Oh man, it made me want to rip my hair out. And also, there's another hard game I beat one time, which is Super Mario Sunshine for the Nintendo GameCube. But when I beat Super Mario Sunshine, I did not collect all the shine sprites, because I think when you collect the 7th shine sprite, you can fight Bowser. And unlike in Super Mario 64, you have to collect the 7th shine sprite to fight Bowser. But comparing to Super Mario 64, you can collect 70 stars to fight Bowser. I mean, because I've even beat Super Mario 64 by collecting 50 stars, because I used the endless stairs, because I used the long jump on the endless stairs, and it worked. And I even beat Super Mario 64 one time with 30 stars, and I used 2 backwards long jumps. I mean, I'm so hardcore when it comes to retro gaming, especially with emulators nowadays, because and also I think I beat it on the Wii U Virtual Console one time when I played when I beat Super Mario 64 with 50 stars and even 30 stars, which you need both keys in order to get through to the last Bowser stage. I mean, using when you do the 30 stars, or when I did the 30 stars, it was very complicated to get through the first backwards long jump to get to the star door, which I need 50 stars to collect. So it was tough. But and as for the door on top, right where the entrance to TikTok clock is, you need hold on. I had to let it out. So because sometimes when I have tomato sauce, it makes me a little gassy. For dinner tonight, I just had pizza. I made a pizza made of Texas toast, which I call it a Texas toast pizza. Yeah, I put marinara sauce and mozzarella cheese on it. It was delicious, because we were supposed to have a frozen pizza tonight, but it did not come in because ShopRite forgot to pick it up for us. Well, that sucks. It really does suck. So, like I said about Super Mario 64, I've beaten the game so many times with 70 stars and even 120 stars. And when you collect 120 stars, you get to see Yoshi on the roof. And the first time I collected 120 stars in Super Mario 64 was when I was 15 years old, just several years after I got the Nintendo 64 for my birthday when I was a kid. So, and also, and that was the first time I get to see Yoshi on the roof after I collected all 120 stars in Super Mario 64 for the first time. And when you talk to Yoshi, he'll give you 100 lives, which will be helpful to fight Bowser for the final time. So, and I've beaten Super Mario 64 with 70 stars so many times. And Super Mario 64 is one of my favorite, not only one of my favorite video games of all time on the Nintendo 64, but one of my favorite games of all time. It's a classic. So, okay, let's see how much time we have. Oh, okay, so we're gonna keep going though. So, I think we're gonna switch gears for the before I sign off for tonight. So, okay, so I might have to do one more topic before I want to sign out for the night during the series premiere of Late Nite Snacks, because I have to wake up early tomorrow morning to get ready to go to day program in the morning, because usually every day except on Wednesdays I go to a day program over in Stanhope. Well, actually, we're going to go over to a new building, which is right behind where Dunkin' Donuts is. And since I have money, I might be able to get a frozen coffee when I go over to Dunkin' Donuts, because, sorry about that, excuse me. So, yeah, I've been really gassy today because of the marinara sauce, because I put it on Texas toast and mozzarella cheese to make a pizza on it, because I was livid when the pizza did not when the frozen pizza did not come in when ShopRite ordered it for us. So, and they had to move the old building to a vacant building, I think right by where Dunkin' Donuts and Quick Check are. So, and since I have money, I might be able to get Dunkin' Donuts tomorrow. And also, we're going to have a new van driver tomorrow when we go to day program. He seems cool. But we're going to have the same route. So, yeah, tomorrow we're going to have the same route for tomorrow when we go over to day program in Stanhope. And Stanhope is right where Netcong is. And Netcong is a town in New Jersey over in Morris County. Netcong is a town in Morris County. And that's where Stanhope's in Sussex. Netcong is over in Morris. So, and Stanhope is, I think, the end of Sussex County, because it leads to Netcong in Morris County. And they had to move the new building. I started the Capital Care program back in June 2022, just one day after I had to go through the transition, just 2 months after my mother passed away from the heart attack. So, and this is where I am right now. And right now, Late Nite Snacks is filmed on location in my very own room in Hardiston, New Jersey. And like I said, this is the series premiere of Late Nite Snacks. I hope everyone is having a good time. Hope everyone is watching. And let me see if I got any, let's see here. I want to see if I got any comments. Let's see. Live chat. Okay. I don't see any yet, but it might be almost time to sign off for the night. And yeah, it's almost time for me to sign off for the night, because I got to get some sleep soon, because I have day program in the morning. I got to get ready soon. Sorry, I just out of breath right now. It sucks. It really does suck. But like I said, I have to get ready in the morning real soon. And I think that's where I might have to sign off for the night. So I'm glad everyone is having a good time here at Late Night Snacks, including for myself. And I hope a lot of people are going to see this. And we're on, because this is the premiere episode, and I'm going to be premiering more episodes every night at 11 except weekends, because that's when I get the night off. Every Monday through Friday night at 11 p.m. will be Late Night Snacks, and I can't wait for episode 2 tomorrow night, and we're going to have so much fun as well. And I hate to say this, but I'm afraid we're going to have to close for the night. So, hope everyone, once again, had a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and enjoy a wonderful 2022. And this is Matt McNally saying, so long.